Warning, the Stone Age Gamer includes a lot of bad language. Cover your mother***ing ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer Podcast. I am Kris Randazzo and joining me tonight is freaking the spreadsheets, Dan Ryan.
Oh, I like that one. That was good.
Yeah, it's a little inside baseball. It's time for the final 10, 20, 30, 40 of the year, and Dan has created a whole new spreadsheet to help us streamline the process. Will it work out? Beware of TV commercials with bomb-loving parrots because the Stone Age Gamer Podcast starts now.
Yeah, it's either going to be way better or way worse.
That is a specific reference that
was good.
I'm sure somebody besides me gets. Hi, everyone. This is episode 495. It's the week of December 29th, 2023. And by the time you're listening, this Christmas will have passed.
Or if you're a dedicated listener, you got up early Christmas morning, Monday morning, and were like, no, kids, Santa Claus hasn't come yet because I haven't listened to the show.
Well, the show Early Access is Tuesday. Although Christmas Day will be a new episode of A Theater Near You, this week's episode, and Wave Back.
I forgot. Yeah, well, even, whatever. Fuck your kids, is what I'm saying. Fuck them kids. Listen to our shows first.
There you go. All right,
nice
so we've got a lot to cover. Evan has requested that we try to keep this one a bit tighter because things...
Because he hates all of you.
Because exactly. He just doesn't like our listeners. And really, I'm sure the feeling is mutual. What have you been up to this week, Dan? That's why you have to tell him
to thank Evan every week.
No, you know what? Actually, hold on.
Fuck that guy.
You can go first because the gambler is calling. But I have a story to tell, sir. I have a story to tell.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to tell this story. If I miss out on Gambler, I miss out on Gambler. Gambler is the god of
first. Never mind.
The god of gambling. Talk. No, because I need to tell this fucking story because I am in the Christmas spirit, and I have been, and I refuse to let anything take me out of the Christmas spirit, including what happened to me on Monday morning. Now, a little bit of backstory. Over the summer, at some point over the summer, my auto pay for the electric company just stopped being a thing. I'm not sure if it was that I somehow turned it off or that they somehow turned it off, but something happened. And during the summer, I missed a couple of months of paying my electric bill because I was under the impression I was on auto pay, and it didn't occur to me that I should be checking that on the regular.
Sure.
So that happened, and I as soon as the electric company was like, "Hey, you owe us a bunch of money," and I was like, "Well, why? Should you have this money already?" And like, "Well, you're not on auto pay." Like, okay, well, I don't remember turning it off, but if you say that it was turned off at this date for reasons unknown, great record keeping, and let's get me on a little payment plan to catch up on the bills that I missed, and everything will be fine. And that was the agreement. I signed a thing and everything. Here's the agreement. You pay this month as long as you're not late. Then you don't have to, you just pay this, right? If you're late on any of these payments, then you have to pay the whole thing, but only if you're late. So it's like, okay, then how do we make sure I'm not late? We sign up for auto pay, and it's going to go on the day before it's due every month. Are we sure about this? It's like, yeah, that's the way you should handle it. Okay, cool. Done. Electric bill's been smooth sailing since. So Monday morning, I wake up to an email from my bank that my account's been overdrawn, which doesn't really track because I just got my Christmas bonus. Karen just got paid. Like, this can't be right. So I go and look at my bank statement, and, obviously there's a couple of, this is the week where a couple of the biggest bills of the month come out, which is just lovely right before Christmas. And of course, Christmas shopping has been happening. But even with that, we should have been just fine. And then I spot a massive electric bill charge. And when I say massive, I mean like close to 6 times what my normal electric bill is. Like, okay, something is not right here. So I go to the website Atlantic City Electric, and my account balance is like negative $700 and something.
Holy shit.
As in, I owe them negative $700. Like, not I owe them $700. They owe me $700 some odd dollars.
Okay.
Like, well, this doesn't seem right. But you cleaned out my bank account, and I don't know why. Because, like, it's not like the account's not saying that I owe you money. The account is now saying that they owe me this money that they just took out of my bank account. So now I have no money. Like, they cleaned out my bank account.
Yeah. Which they can just do.
They can just
isn't
do.
That great. Yeah.
No. So I call them up and I'm like, what's going on here?
Hey, you fucks.
It's like 6 days till Christmas and you just stole all my money. What's going on? So there's this state program for anybody with outstanding balances in their, anybody with that, within certain pay income rates or whatever. If you have an outstanding balance, as long as you pay your bills on time for a certain period of time, those balances will just be taken care of, like negated, which is fantastic. I got a little letter in the mail about that. That's super cool. So apparently what happened is there was some sort of glitch in their auto pay system where in processing this thing, instead of making my balance go away, they doubled it somehow. And once that landed on my account, that's when autopay took the amount of money away. So I'm like, okay, well, give me my money back. And they say, well, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but first off, they explained it to me, and that's where they were happy to leave the conversation. Like, not offer any kind of resolution. I guess, suppose under the assumption of like, well, now you have this huge negative balance on your account, so you just don't have to pay the electric bill for a while. Isn't that great? Have a nice day. No. You took...
No, fucker.
You went into my bank account and stole all of my money. That's not okay. Give it back.
You're not the only bill I have to pay, you twat.
So I said, you need to give me my money back now, because otherwise I can't buy groceries for Christmas. And they said, well, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. I understand this is frustrating, but there's really nothing we can do. I'm like, fuck there isn't. Like, the best that we can offer is that we'll write you a check that'll get to you in about 20 to 30 business days. I'm sorry, excuse me? You can take the money digitally, but you have to write me a check for getting the money back? Yes, that's all we can do.
Right, which is their way of saying, we're going to try to make this as inconvenient as possible so that you don't pressure us about it.
So I pressured them about it, and to this guy's, to this gentleman I was talking to, his credit, he refused to let me talk to anybody above him. He had a hard line stance of like, everybody you talk to is going to give you the same answer as me, and no, that's it. This is the way it is, and I'm sorry it sucks to be you, but we have all your money now, and you'll get it back when it's convenient for us. And that is unacceptable. But unfortunately, that's the way it is, because I climbed up the fucking chain, and there is no option. I said, if I go to one of your offices and say, write me the check now so I can take it directly to the bank, no, it has to be processed first. The only option that they could throw at me was to contact the bank and see if they could cancel the charge ahead of time. Again, they fully acknowledged that they fucked up, and it really sucks to be me, but sorry. So I contact the bank, and I'm like, so this happened. What can you do about it? And they said, well, unfortunately, the only thing we can do about it is, file a claim or make a dispute. But even that's going to take at least a week. It's like, so I'm just fucked right now. Like, they stole all my money, and I can't get it back. And nobody could help me. Which ultimately, it was sort of, we were okay because Karen had some money in her business account that she could throw at things until we got to our next paycheck. But the electric company stole all my fucking money, and then I have to wait like a couple of weeks to get the money back.
That's absurd.
That is absurd. And now we were ultimately okay because we were fortunate enough to have the safety net of Karen's business account. However, there's
6
no
months
way
ago you would not have been okay.
That's true. And also, there's no way we're the only ones this happened to.
Of course not.
Because this program that's meant to help the people who need it the most, right? Those people are probably all also on auto pay and probably also had all of their money stolen from them. Like, how is it possible that they don't have a way to make sure that they're not ruining everyone's Christmas? How is it possible that they have a computer system that can instantly take your money but can absolutely not give it back? There is no like, oh, I'm sorry, we fucked up. That's your problem now. Like that shouldn't be okay. It shouldn't even be an option. They shouldn't be allowed to do that, but they are, and I hate it.
But you, and I'm not saying you did the wrong thing. As soon as you agree to the auto pay, the fine print in there is that you give them access to withdraw whatever amount they need to withdraw.
Of course, yeah. The problem is that wasn't
zero.
That wasn't the amount they needed to. That wasn't the amount they needed to withdraw. And it wasn't. It was a glitch. It was their mistake. They made a mistake and thought that's what they needed to withdraw.
But
so they need to give that money back. They don't.
But they don't.
They should.
They should,
but they don't. They should, but they don't. Well, because I mean, they do have to give the money back. They just don't have to give it back immediately.
Not right away.
Yeah, they do have to give it because the money's not theirs. They fucked up, and they say, "Oops, I accidentally took way too much money." And we have access to do this thing, but we're only allowed to take the money that you actually owe. Like, they're not allowed to just take whatever amount of money they want from us.
Oh, no.
It has to be what's billed. And since their billing system fucked up and they stole all my money, they should have to give it back immediately. But I hate it.
What have we learned? If you have anything set up on auto pay, stop.
I have everything set up on auto pay.
Oh, no. No. I disagree. I disagree 100%. And the reason I disagree is because I personally refuse to give them that access. Because of shit like that. You know what I mean? You are not the first person. Like you said, you are not the first person that this has happened to. You are not the last person that this is going to happen to.
No, of course not.
You know?
I have also fallen victim to, well, the date for this changed by one day, and now I have a $500 late fee because I was late by a day. You know, I've fallen victim to that bullshit way too many times. And so, yes, this is fucking awful, but I've been fucked the other way just as hard, if not harder. So I've landed on taking the chance of be like, well, I will set it up for auto pay because that way it's taken care of. And if something gets fucked up and if I'm handling myself properly, then I should be able to solve the problem. And in most cases, like if my credit card company, for example, does some sort of fucked up mistake, they can reverse that shit straight away. But this utility company is like, no, I'm sorry. We've got to run this through several things and then write you a paper check and mail it to you. That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
So most things
that is all because they want you to just be like, fuck it, just don't even bother, just keep the credit on there. Because that way you'll forget again when it fucks up and be like, oh, and they can just take more of your money. Exactly. I have a very healthy distrust of all of that bullshit.
It's a very reasonable distrust. But you know, I've been fucked every single way there is, and this seems to be the path of least resistance. But this specific instance right here was just so completely absurd that there was this thing that was supposed to help me that then bugged out and resulted in them literally stealing all of my money.
Yeah.
And it's fine. There's no like, if I fuck up something in the other direction, then I'm in all the trouble in the world. But they can fuck up to this extraordinary degree, and there's no repercussions for that. They don't care.
They're not going to give you a free month. They're not going to like, oh, we're sorry, man. This sucks for you.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. And I love, my favorite part of those phone calls is the end of it with, is there anything else I can help you with today? You can fucking help me with anything. You can start. You know what else you can help me with? The first fucking thing I called about. You can go back, restart this whole conversation, and actually help me with my fucking problem. Oh, I hate that shit. I hate it so much.
Just give me my money back. You could give me, I'm not asking for a refund. I'm asking you to give the thing that you stole from me back. You fucking assholes.
I caught you, you son of a bitch. Give it back. From now on, I will fucking walk a check to your office once a month, you cunts.
Yes, I'm still in the holiday spirit. This did not knock me down. Maybe for a couple of hours. I honestly don't know. I don't remember much of the rest of that day. It was just blind rage, just white hot rage for hours.
Yeah.
But
how could it not be?
Exactly. How could it not
at
be?
At that point? You just... And they don't need your $700. They didn't need it. They don't need it. They're fine. Yeah, that sucks, man.
I got to moving on. I posted in the Discord that I was stuck at a thing in Mario RPG that I didn't have the physical capabilities to do.
Okay.
And I took another couple of swings at it, and I got lucky, and I did it. I actually finished this fight, which is, I don't like it. Again, I finished it through luck, honestly, because it's a fight where, because Mario RPG is all about those timed hits, and it's not all about the timed hits, right? It's a big part of the game, but it's not the game. This fight is you have to do, I think 15 or 16 rounds of perfect attacks and defense, perfectly timed attacks and defense.
That does not sound fun.
It's not fun in the least. And it was this was the first thing that I ran into in this game that was just I get what you're doing, because these post-game battles are interesting, and some of them felt really unfair at first, where it's oh, these people have moves that can insta-kill you, but within a minute you figure out oh, this is how you stop the insta-kill move. Okay, got it. Right? Booster, for example, you see it in the trailer for the new version. Booster has this new move when you go to fight him a second time, where he can ride this train to your party, and all three members, it does 9999 damage. So it's insta-kill, but the move can always be stopped if you're paying attention. So that's how I got past that. I was oh, okay, I get it. This makes sense. This is just, you have to figure out the puzzle here. Okay, got it. But this one is this isn't a puzzle. It's not that. It's just, you have to have flawless execution over every single time, or you have to start over again. That's just it. And where does that get fun? It doesn't.
It doesn't.
However,
I saw a couple people this week actually saying things about Mario RPG of I really love this. And then it got to a point, also Wonder, I think when you got to the point where you got of this is really good, and this part fucking sucks. And that's a shame.
I hated that last level, and I know I wasn't alone, but I also know there's plenty of people that didn't have anywhere near the amount of difficulty I had with that last level. But I've seen people have similar problems with this second Johnny fight, and honestly, it's that is the last thing, the second to last hurdle. Although I think you can do the other fight out of order too, but it's one of the last hurdles to get to the super awesome, super secret final fight. Now, we're in spoiler territory, so anybody who doesn't want to know this about Mario
hold on,
RPG...
let me plug my ears.
Obviously, you don't care, but anybody who's listening who doesn't want to have spoilers. So in Mario RPG, one of the super awesome secret fight was with that character Culex, right? He was a Final Fantasy style character. And you fight him with the Final Fantasy IV music and everything, and it's super awesome. So I got to Culex, and he's still the 2D sprite, which is what I think when we talked about on the show is like, I hope he's just a 2D sprite floating around in space, and that's exactly what it was. It was the same sprite from Mario RPG, played the same music and everything, the 16-bit music, and it was great. But there's a Culex 3D fight. Ooh. So, like, if you do all these extra boss battles, you get to fight him again, and he's figured out how to become 3D, and the fight is way harder. I almost beat him on my first try, but I fucked up. I was so mad at myself because I was so close to having him done. I beat all 4 of his crystals, and then it was just him. All I needed to do was keep Peach alive. That's the only thing I needed to do, because she was my healer. Don't fuck up and let him kill Peach. And then I fucked up and let him kill Peach. And he must have only had like 100 some hit points left, because I think he has like 8,000 or something, and I had been at it for a while. And I haven't gotten that close to him again yet, because I've just been so frustrated. Every time I get there, I'm like, I'm so mad at you. I'm so mad at me for fucking up, but I'm mad at you too because you suck.
You suck. Because he's got. Isn't that the worst too? Like, and that happens so specifically in RPGs. Of the first time you get to the boss, you're like, all right, I fucking got this. We're doing good. Things are going, and then like you die towards the end, and you're like, all right, I see what I'm supposed to do though. Like I got it. We're right on. This is going to happen, and then you just don't get close for days.
I just like, can't execute the same way again. I'm so angry about it. But I'll get it. I'll beat him one of these days. But he looks really awesome in 3D. Mario RPG is great. I finished Super Mario Land 2. It's a great game. I started Super Mario World. It's also a great game. Still played a little bit of that Suika game every now and then. Like, I play it once or twice a week. I mention it because there was a Christmas update. Ooh. Which just changed the music to like a Christmas song and made everything Christmas themed. It was adorable.
Good Christmas update.
Speaking of updates, though, Yars Recharge got updated on the VCS, and it wiped all my save data. Yeah. That sucked. Because I only had one stage left. And now the stage that I was stuck on forever, that I found a strategy online to beat, that strategy doesn't work anymore. Because now this plays exactly like the Switch game, which I can't shake the feeling is fucking wrong. They changed the way this one weapon works, and it feels super glitchy, and that's one of the reasons I never use it in the Switch game. It's this thing that it's supposed to explode. You shoot it, and then it explodes really big wherever it lands. Now it just explodes on you constantly, and it like shoots you all over the place super fast. It's super unwieldy, and this is the only special weapon you can get that can hurt the Kotile besides your Zarlon cannon. And the problem with this stage is that getting to the Kotile with your Zarlon cannon is near impossible, because it's just this onslaught of bullets that's just everywhere. And it keeps getting more and more intense the longer you stay on the stage. So getting through his front shield is nuts. The trick was, you get this weapon, you sneak up behind him, and you blow him up. But now that I can't properly use the weapon, I can't do that anymore. Right. And the other problem is there's these like smart bombs that'll come out. There's certain things that'll lay these bombs that come out real slow, and then they explode in all these different directions. And they make this beeping noise so you can tell they're coming. And before the update, you could shoot those things and stop them from exploding. Okay. And in the Switch version, you can't do that. You just can't shoot them. The bullet just goes right through them. And now that's the same way in the updated Yars Recharged. And I'm really upset about it, because it doesn't ruin the game by any stretch, but it makes it basically unbeatable. Like, I have no idea how I'm supposed to beat that stage without the ability to utilize that weapon. And it doesn't seem like there's just a puzzle that you have to like figure. There doesn't seem to be another way to do it easily. Not that I can figure out. Like I have not been able to devise any other strategy that makes any kind of sense other than just hoping for the best. Like I've cleared everything from there, and I've shot him. I think you have to shoot him like 4 or 5 times with the Zarlon cannon, and I've gotten like 3 or 4 shots off him. But I always have to hit him like 1 or 2 more times, and that's after the only way to get rid of his shield is by defeating all of the things around him, which are what gives you the ammunition to fire off the Zarlon cannon. The only other way to do that is to get that charge off of the quotile itself by shooting it. But the yellow orbs float around the quotile, who at that point is now just constantly barraging bullets in every direction. So you can't safely get close to it while dodging all of its bullets, in addition to all of the other bullets that are just flying all over the stage. Like, it seems like it was designed for this weapon to work this one way, and now they have changed it, and I don't understand why. Which is a huge bummer. But, I don't know, a bunch of Atari stuff got updated. The VCS itself had a firmware update. It runs a bit smoother now. Controllers connect faster. Like, you know, it's all in all positive stuff, but like this one stage in Yar's Recharge is going to haunt me for the rest of my life. Speaking of shit that's going to haunt me for the rest of my life on the VCS, I finally beat the stage I was stuck on in Atari Mania. Right? So, there was like, you know, I beat the game, but then you can like replay all of these arcade cabinets, and the last one I was stuck on for so long because you had to do all of these stages and then beat the last boss again in like 1 or 2 tries, and the last boss of the game is so hard, and I finally pulled it off. I was so surprised, like dropped the controller and cheered. I was like, yes, I finally did it. But I'm still at like 99.8% completion. I have no idea what I'm missing. I can't find anything, and there's like everything that I can find online is people also stuck at that same position. Like, nobody can figure out exactly what this percentage is based off of. There's a theory going on that it has something to do with actually successfully completing every mini game. So, like, because you get a couple of different tries to, so you go into a stage and it says, you have to beat 19 micro games, right? But you have 4 tries. So if you fail, then you just move on to the next game, but you lose one of your attempts, right? Right. So the theory that makes the most sense to me is that, well, then there's a game that I've never successfully completed. I've always died on that thing and then moved past it. Mm-hmm. But I have no way of telling what that is. Because there's no sort of system that'll point to and say, well, this is the one that you missed. Like, I found the Easter egg. I did all the arcades. I found all the mice. I have all the instruction manuals, all the box art. I did everything.
Everything you're supposed to do.
Everything that makes any degree of sense to me, and I can't get an answer on what it is that I'm missing. And I got to track it down. I got to figure it out because it's just going to drive me crazy forever. Mm-hmm. I also got from Flint's Arcade, they sent me a review code for 8-color Star Guardians. I don't know if you've seen anything on that one.
I've heard about it. I haven't seen anything, though.
Yeah, it comes out in middle of January, and it's like a turn-based RPG that only uses 8 colors, and the main characters are Power Rangers, basically. And they're constantly striking poses. It looks freaking great. I haven't tried it yet, but I got a review code for it. I'm pretty excited about it. And that's everything I've been doing besides, you know, being unreasonably poor thanks to my electric company being awful. But hey, what have you been up to?
So this week, let's see. I finished Portal 2. Made our way through that. I think like Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. Because I went to the doctor, to get an X-ray on my shoulder because I was like, all right, it's getting to a point here. There were a couple times where it's like, this feels so strange because it doesn't hurt in the morning, and then, you know, nighttime comes and like I want to die. It's like what this fucking feels like. So I gotta go to the doctor. I gotta go to the doctor. There's something definitely amiss here. So I go to the urgent care by my house, and because they have an X-ray thing there. So I go in, and I'm talking to the lady. I'm like, yeah, and of course, while I'm there, it doesn't fucking hurt at all, right? Obviously, it doesn't.
Yeah, of course.
Because why would it? So I'm talking to her, and I'm like, hey, like this really fucking sucks, and I'm not super happy about it. Please take an X-ray, and I'm really hoping that that when you take this X-ray, you're going to be like, oh God, holy shit, what the fuck is wrong with your shoulder? Because that's how bad it hurt. Yeah, like something. Just something fucking wild, because that's like how much pain. I was like, it fucking burns down my arm and like whatever. And she takes the X-ray and she's like, yeah, no, it looks good. Your shoulder looks fucking fine from the X-ray. And I was like, I really, really hate that you said those words out loud to me. Like, that makes me really, really upset. You're a horrible person and a terrible doctor. And she was like, oh, because I actually did say that to her, because I'm a fucking terrible patient. I was like, no, I'm just like, I'm disappointed, because I was hoping this would be the thing. She's like, all right, well, we'll get you into this other place like in a week or so when they can, try to get you in for an MRI. So like I was doing that, and I was like, all right, well, I can't do any of the other stuff that like I want to do. Like making something for Tiff, because I made her a noodle board for her birthday or Christmas or whatever, some holiday a while ago, and it got fucked up. It got it got wrecked because I didn't seal it properly, because I didn't know what I was doing, and I've learned from that. So I like for Christmas I am going to remake her one, because making one of those, like, it shouldn't put too much strain on my bicep tendonitis, which is what I ultimately think it is, shoulder bicep tendonitis, whatever. I should be able to like make that, because I'm gonna go. They gave me a sling, so I'm gonna be in total fucking bitch about it. And when I go to Home Depot to get the lumber I need, I'm gonna ask them. I know that they will cut it for you anyway, but I feel like a fucking asshole when I do that. So I will feel like less of an asshole if I wear the sling. I'm there.
There you go.
That's fucking silly as shit, but it's how I feel. Because the sling, like, to immobilize the arm and not like strain the tendons and whatever. So I wear that. They'll do the cuts for me, and like then it's just a matter of screwing shit together and all that. Like, and that's fine. And I'm gonna like try to make a blanket ladder. Have you seen those?
No.
Okay, it's a fucking fancy ass white girl thing. It's a fucking what's that fucking store? Oh my God, the crazy expensive store, usually in the mall. They have
Pier
like really
One?
No, they have really expensive Mario sheets. Fuck, that's gonna bother me. It'll come to me. Anyway, it's like that kind of thing though. It's like the fucking like bougie boutique-y kind of stores have these blanket ladders, and they're basically just ladders that you drape your blankets over. You put it up in the corner, and you put like quilts and throws and shit like that on it. But they sell them, and they're like $85, $90, $150 depending on what they're finished in. And you can like legit go to Home Depot and get a couple of 2x4s and 2x2s, and you're good. Like $6 is about what this thing actually costs to make. So anyway, short story long. So did all that earlier in the week, and I can't do a ton. So I was like, fuck it, we'll play video games. So we finished Portal 2, finished Katamari, because I fucking love that make the moon level. I know it's the last level in the game. It's my fucking favorite though. Like, this needs to be 300 meters. And you're like, oh my God, 300 fucking meters. And by the time you're done with it, you've got this 700, 800 meter thing. You're rolling up fucking islands and the game clouds and shit. Yeah. Clouds and tornadoes. And it's just the best. And I'm playing through it. And Katie comes down, and as we're playing through, and she hears all the people screaming like in the buildings. And she's like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I have to make the moon, Katie. And she was like, yeah, but those are people. I said, yeah, I know, but like, I'm just rolling them up. She goes, no. Dad, you're rolling them up, and then your father is going to shoot them into space where they all die. And I went, oh. I had never really considered that Katamari was a mass extinction event, but yeah, it really is. She was like, this is horrifying. How dare you go and murder all of these people, you tiny little green prick. All right.
They're fine.
I was like, that's fine. When you go, you see the cutscene at the end of the game, and it's like, oh, we're on a lunar vacation. It's totally fine. No worries. Everybody lived. Everybody. Just this once, Rose. Everybody lives. Yeah. So we finished that. And then I picked up on sale, it was like $13, which was like finally the price where I was like, all right, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to get Sifu for $13 because it's on the PlayStation sale. And man, I should have got that game a long time ago. Do you remember Sifu? Do you remember us talking about it and being like,
yes, I do.
That looks like a game that is so for you.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no, I just haven't gotten it yet. I don't know what, because I kept waiting for it to go to PlayStation Plus or whatever. I really thought it was going to by this point. It just hasn't. So for $13, I was like, fuck it, I'll jump in. I'll take the bait or whatever. And yeah, this is fucking a game for me. It's like playing through Shaw Brothers Kung Fu movie. The fucking credits where they're teaching you how to do, like, the opening credits are like a training montage, like in really good, like, 70s Kung Fu flicks. And they teach you how to do certain moves, like, within the credits, and then you beat the shit out of some people, and it does cool camera cuts, and then it goes back to doing, like, all the old school Kung Fu movie intro stuff. It's fucking awesome. Like, I am super duper into it. I don't know if my, like, entertainment level is going to be maintained throughout the game, but just the way the game moves and the way the dude fights, really fucking cool. Really, really like it. So that'll be up for contention in the Golden Caveman Awards of why the fuck didn't I play this sooner? Although I think Inscription probably has that award locked up. Spoilers. If anybody listened to us earlier in the year. But regardless, I'm really, really happy with it. And they actually added some really good games to the PlayStation Plus catalog. They added Grand Theft Auto 5, so maybe I will finally play that PS3 game. There's a chance I might download it and give it a shot. I'm not going to. We all know. But they added Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and 2 and Mega Man 11, which I've still never played Mega Man 11, so I'm going to jump into that at some point. They added a bunch of other, like, seemingly pretty cool shit that I was legitimately excited about. I already owned Legacy Collection 1. I never bought 2 for whatever reason. So I'll, like, play through those again because I was talking to the kids about it, and I was like, man, I fucking love Mega Man. God damn it. Love these games so much. So I might go through and do a probably more with Katie than with Penn, because Katie's way more into Mega Man and the music and whatever. Like, we might do a playthrough of that. And we were talking about it, and I was showing her, because whatever the world record is for, and I'm going to look it up right now so that I'm accurate to it, the whatever the world record was for Mega Man 2, like the Mega Man 2 non-assisted speed run record. In college, I could always get like three or 4 minutes, like, off of that world record, and I've never been able to figure out where that time exists. Yeah, it's 26 minutes and 32 seconds. I used to get it in about 29 minutes, 30 minutes is about, like, where I would end up. I was like, fuck, man, I don't know where those other 3 minutes are. And and Katie and I were talking about it, so I started showing her. And I was like, look, like you run through Airman stage, and I'm jumping and I'm getting hit by the fucking the faces that pop up with the horns, like the bullhorn looking bulls. And she's like, why do you keep jumping into those? And I was like, because I need to get fucking past them. She was like, oh, so, like, you can get hit, but not she was like, okay, like, I'm starting to figure this out. I was like, yeah, like, this is, how you got to do shit like this. And she was like, oh, that's really fucking cool. because we got into it, talking about it ultimately from the discussion we were having on the Discord earlier in the week about bringing back the pain in the ass-a-thon and thinking about like, it, you know, if we were to do it and how we would do it. And the kids were like, well, can we be involved? And I was like, I mean, fuck, we probably need people to stream shit. Like, Katie
I don't know.
like,
Are you a pain in the ass?
I was like, for sure. Yeah, but we were just talking about games that they could finish in one sitting. And I was like, I don't know, Katie, the hardest shift to fill is like midnight to 6 a.m. Do you think you could do that one? And she was like, yeah, I could do like Pikmin 3 in that time. And I was like, fuck, whatever. That sounds like I'll put my 14-year-old on from midnight till 6 a.m. That sounds like parenting award of the year right there. And Penn was like, oh, I could do Pizza Tower or whatever. But we just started talking about, you know, like speed running shit. I was like, yeah, fuck it. And it used to piss me off. There was a time, I don't know if you remember that back in the day, where I played through Mega Man 2 daily, like sometimes multiple times per day to get my time down, just to see if I could. And like get into that 29-minute mark and be like, where the fuck are 3 more minutes? Because that might as well be another hour at that point. If I'm running through as perfect as I possibly can and doing all like this thing bumps me over here and I'm jumping through and I'm not hitting any of the platform, everything's perfect, and I'm still 3 minutes away, I'm not even fucking close. That's very frustrating. I never figured it out, man. Never ever figured it out.
No, I certainly didn't figure it out.
Well, what have you been doing this whole time?
Me?
Yeah, you were supposed to figure it out, Kris.
Just staring off into space.
Oh, that's fair. The big news, though. Big news, jazz hands, take your dick out. Whoa, that got very serious. Sorry. It's for later. I had one spotlight key this week in Marvel Snap, and I was like, I don't know, because the card that they released this week is Havoc. Havoc is my favorite X-Man, and if not my favorite, he's tied with Iceman. Like and it's always been that way. Like I think Cyclops sucks. I fucking hate Cyclops. Havoc is the best. Havoc rules. And this card that came out this week on Tuesday was a really interesting card, because I'm not what you would call a veteran, Kris, of the collectible card game oeuvre. Yeah, I've played some of the, like I played Magic back in the, what's that?
Those were some words.
They were. Played Magic back in the day, you know. I've played Pokemon with the kids and whatever, you know, but like I never got super duper like into card games. Like Hearthstone. Sorry, talking too fast. I'm trying to finish for Evan. Hearthstone.
We're not doing too great here.
No, we're really not. I'm gonna speed it along. So anyway, haven't really played too much of them. So they're releasing Havoc. He's a two cost 0 power card. And his gimmick is that whatever turn you play him on, now that remember there's 6-turn games in Snap, unless you throw down Magic and she changes it to a 7-turn game. Whatever turn you play Havoc on, that is the maximum amount of energy you will have for the rest of the game. So if you play Havoc on turn 2, you will have a maximum of 2 energy for the rest of the game. Okay? Which, as you would imagine, severely limits the amount of cards you can play. Because if you only have 2 power, you can play 2 1-cost cards or 1 2-cost card every turn. That's not going to be enough to win you the game. The trade-off for that restriction is that every turn, Havoc gains 4 power. So you play him on turn 2. At the end of turn 2, he gains 4. At the end of turn 3, he gains another 4. So he's already up to 8, which is awesome, but he's limiting what you can play, right? So I'm looking at this card and I'm like, fuck, I really like Havoc, but I just don't see how this card is going to do well in this game, and like the way the meta is shaping right now and the way cards are being played. I don't understand it, but I'm going to trust. I ultimately came to the decision. I was like, fuck it. I've got one spotlight key. I'm going to trust that they know what they're doing. These are guys who have worked on collectible card games. If they design the card this way, there must be something that I'm just not seeing yet, and that's fine. I'm not going to get them anyway because I don't get new cards. I haven't gotten a new card since September. There's no way I'm fucking getting a new card. Whatever. I'll give it a shot. And son of a bitch, Kris, Havoc is what I got this week with my one spotlight key. So September 14th to December, what was that? The 20th. That was how long it took me to open up a new card in Marvel Snap. But I finally did. And it's the one that I have absolutely no idea what to fucking do with. Because of course it is. Of course it is. I'm going to figure it out, though, because Havoc's awesome. Love that guy.
Good for you.
Good for you.
Good for you. Good for you. Alex Summers.
He's the best, man. Him and Iceman. Iceman, okay. Nightcrawler. Like, that would be the team that I would put together if I was going to write an X-Man book. That's, I don't know why I say X-Man that way. X-Men book. X-person.
Yeah.
That's
X-Man was a different dude.
Yeah, I know. He sucked.
Sure did.
Dumb hair. That would be, I think, the foundation of my team, though, would be Iceman, Nightcrawler, and
X-Man.
Havoc. An X-Men and Shatterstar. I always fucking like that guy too.
Shatterstar.
I just always had this idea in my mind of like, you know, Iceman is legit like one of the scariest, most powerful fucking characters in the entire Marvel universe. Nightcrawler can transport shit of like considerable size. So Iceman's just gonna make a bunch of fucking like ice daggers. And Nightcrawler's just going to, like, fly them over people and drop them on them, and it'll be awesome. I don't know. Iceman rules. Havoc rules. Nightcrawler's pretty cool. That's what I've been at, Kris. Finished Portal. Finished Katamari. Sifu's fucking dope. Got a new card. I really hope I get Spider-Man 2 for Christmas. I don't know that I'm going to, but I hope I do.
I'm hopeful for you on your behalf that you'll get Spider-Man 2.
All right.
That's what I want for you.
Well, thank you. I hope you get everything you've ever wanted.
I just want that electronic mop.
I know. I do hope you get a fucking... It's so good. Steam mops are where it's at.
See, I'm so excited about a Steam mop. It's ridiculous.
I do want to say, though, before we jump into week-old news, and we have not discussed this previously, so I don't want to sound like a dick, but I don't want to discuss the Sony leaks because fuck those hackers.
Cool. Done.
Okay. Because I know there's been things posted on our Discord. I am not judging none of that. They have gotten enough oxygen out of everybody else. I don't want to give them any more.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Done. It's a thing that happened. That's the story.
It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. It's really, really fucked up. And if it was just the reason I feel the way I feel about it, just to kind of justify it a little bit, because like normally we have talked about leaks and shit in the past. This one included like addresses of employees,
personal information of employees,
personal information, and fuck you for doing that. Like, you want to release clips of Wolverine, like the fucking kid who released the clips for Grand Theft Auto. Like, and even that, we said, fuck you, they should get to decide when they put it out.
Yeah.
But, like, that didn't have people's home addresses in it. That's that's a fucking bridge too far, man. So fuck you for doing that.
And with that, it's time for week-old news. First up, this actually happened, I believe, right after we recorded our last episode. This story was released, seemingly with the timing to try to make it not make a lot of news cycles. But of course, the Kotaku headline says Activision to settle discrimination suit for $54 million.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Activision's a horrible place, run by horrible people, and there's a whole discrimination lawsuit that, they're settling, and they kind of, like, held off on this news to, like, the release of the press to, like, Friday night or some shit like that. But the good news is that Bobby Kotick is actually stepping down as president or, overlord of Activision Blizzard, which, he's, retiring with $45 bajillion, and he's been the most overpaid CEO for decades now, and he's just a human piece of filth, and he's going to live happily ever after. But at least he won't be in charge of Activision Blizzard anymore. So at least there's that.
It's so funny, too, because every now and again, I think I've mentioned this before, like Tiff and I will be sitting around and it's like, fuck, I got to go to bed in like 15, 20 minutes or whatever. We're just sitting here talking, and we'll put on in the background, there are people who just upload old commercials to YouTube. Like 6 hours of old commercials. Fucking, it's great. And we put on one the other day, just sitting there talking, just something for background noise. And it was a bunch of commercials for 80s Christmas commercials. And there were a ton of Activision Atari game commercials. And I was like, man, fuck. Like,
this company started because people weren't getting enough, because people weren't being treated well enough at Atari, that they weren't getting to take credit for the games that they made. So they made their own company to do that, and that turned into this abomination that's out there in the world now. Just makes me sad.
And they've done so much good in the video game space. Like, they really have. They've contributed so many fucking spokes to the wheel. And now it's just, you will beg us for your new fucking Call of Duty. You prick.
Get your annual Call of Duties. We will run our companies horribly and not let anybody be accountable. It's just horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. And speaking of horrible, Zack Snyder wants to direct a Fortnite movie.
Why not?
Fucking go for it.
Let him do it.
Go ahead.
Super happy about it.
That seems right up his alley.
It does. I fucking like Zack Snyder movies for the most part.
I'm not gonna lie. Movies.
Not gonna lie. I like Zack Snyder movies for the most part.
I liked
really
300.
300
I
was
remember
great.
liking 300, and I didn't like anything else.
Watchmen was dope. I like the Watchmen.
That's true. Watchmen was good. I enjoyed Watchmen.
Yeah, fan of that. What was the fucking one?
Sucker Punch?
Yeah, Sucker Punch was cool. I wasn't
though.
But I liked it. I liked it. It was fine.
I hated all of his DC EU nonsense and whatever.
Oh, well, yeah. I don't think he did a good job with
movie.
That.
Go nuts. Live the dream, Zack Snyder. Have at it.
Yeah, man.
Hey, PlayStation isn't deleting Discovery shows.
I saw that too. That's good news.
It is, except the fact that they could still do it at any time. Like, they're just like, all right, so we won't do it for now, but we're going to do it eventually, and we could put the underlying problem that they could do this to anything,
at any time, to anything.
That's still a thing. So, I mean, good for you for listening. It's like when everybody bullied them into keeping their PlayStation store open for a while longer. Like,
yeah.
Thank you for listening, but the underlying horror is still there. You bastards.
Well, and like the wild shit is like these companies keep fucking merging and like just doing shit. Like there's
so
rumors
much consolidation.
Right now.
Warner and Paramount.
Warner Discovery and Paramount.
Why anyone would want to merge with Warner at this stage in the game is beyond me. How any company can look at Warner Brothers and anything they've done for a while and be like, you know what? I'm good. You stay over there.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We were watching I don't know. You just love watching old movies where it's like Warner Brothers and AOL Time Warner Company. Like, oh,
yeah,
good times. AOL Time Warner. You're so funny.
Good times, great oldies. Fuck. Yeah.
That company is just like, I don't know who's running it, but they don't do a good job.
I don't think they know either. And I think that's part of the problem.
Either. Like, the whole thing with like, DC is like the easiest thing in the world. Like, all they needed to do was just make a handful of good movies, and they were like, "No, we're gonna Zack Snyder, do you take the reins, do the end." Like, oh, fucking hell, like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, my head's so full of snot right now. I'm having a hard time articulating certain frustrations.
So hot.
So
no, that's. Hold on, keep talking.
Almost
keep
there.
Doing it. Almost there. Almost.
Well, I only have one other news story to bring up, and that is for Destructoid. Destructoid's posts. Why can't I think of the right word? Grand Theft Auto 6 hacker indefinitely sentenced to a secure hospital.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. Because he was apparently already in trouble for hacking other shit, and then ended up hacking the GTA shit on a hotel TV with a Fire Stick and his cell phone. Like, don't put that kid in jail. Hire that fucking kid for something. I don't know what, but he's real good at this. Like, figure something out.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
But apparently, I believe it was because he's autistic, and they're keeping him in a hospital because, like, prison's not the right place, apparently, but yeah.
Give that kid a fucking job.
It's fucking wild. Yeah, he's point him in the right direction somehow, and then
for real,
humanity will be good.
It really will. Stop punishing. Like, I know he did a bad thing, but have you fuckers never seen the Tom Hanks Leo DiCaprio classic Catch Me If You Can?
I haven't. No, I haven't.
Oh, really? Oh my god, that movie's fucking amazing. Legitimately, that movie is fucking great. And it's about the story about a dude who, Frank Abagnale, who was counterfeiting checks all over the world, and like, he was a doctor for a bit. He wasn't a fucking doctor, but he was a doctor for a bit, and he was a pilot for a bit, and he never fucking flew anywhere. He just like got on planes. It's this fucking fascinating story. And eventually when he gets caught, because he goes too big, as they always do, you know, fucking Icarus, you fly too close to the sun and whatever, he ended up working with the guy who caught him, who it was his life's mission to bring this guy down. I'm gonna get this fucking check fraud thing. And he ended up like consulting with the FBI and like starting a bunch of legitimate businesses of like security protection and like theft protection and that sort of shit. Like, that's the way it's got to be. Also, you should really fucking watch that movie. It's great.
It's on the list. It's been on the list for a while and just haven't gotten around to it. But with that, it's time for us to take a quick break, and when we come back, Dan's going to run the 10, 20, 30, 40 into the ground. No,
that's right. We're going to start with the 30.
Just to fuck you up. Yeah, you're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from geekade.com. Stick around. Hi everyone, Kris here. Podcast listening is free, but podcast creation is not. That's why the Geekade Patreon exists. In an effort to help us pay the bills, we've got a Patreon page set up where you can gain access to our monthly podcast topic schedule, get early access to many of our shows, and more. If you'd like to help support Geekade and keep these shows running week after week, head over to the Geekade Patreon page, linked in the show notes of this very podcast.
We are Safe at Home, the leading dog rescue in the heart of New Jersey. Are you searching for a loyal companion, a dog that will bring love and joy to your home? Look no further than Safe at Home. At Safe at Home, we believe in giving every dog a second chance. We rescue, rehabilitate, and find loving forever homes for dogs in need, right here in the Garden State. Our dogs are ready to make a lasting impact on your life. Each one has a unique story, a wagging tail, and an incredible capacity for love. When you adopt from Safe at Home, you're not just gaining a pet, you're becoming a part of our family. Our dedicated team ensures a seamless adoption process, providing ongoing support and guidance. With New Jersey's beautiful parks, beaches, and trails, you and your new furry friend will have endless opportunities for adventures and cherished memories. Safe at Home relies on the support of compassionate individuals like you. Your donations and volunteer work enable us to continue saving lives and finding forever homes for these amazing dogs. Join us in creating a safer, happier community for dogs in New Jersey. Together we can make a difference and give every dog the chance to feel safe at home. Visit our website or call us now to learn about how you can be a part of the Safe at Home mission. Safe at Home, because every dog deserves to be loved and protected. www.safeathomerescue.org.
And we're back, and it's time for the 10, 20, 30, 40, where Dan and I talk about notable game releases from decades past. And Dan has, he's taken the lead on this now. So, Dan, bake them away, toys.
So, quick little piece of information for everybody listening. We are switching up where we have pulled some of the information from. We're trying a new thing. I don't know how well it's going to work. I think it's going to work better, but we seem to have found a way to pull more information in a way that's easier so that we don't scroll through live on air, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but we're just going to try it. We'll see. Let us know feedback. If it sucks and you want us to go back to the old way, that's fine too. But we are going to jump back in the digital DeLorean, as it were, Kris, and travel back in time to that wonderful time of December 2013, where on the 3DS, we had a bunch of releases. Now, this is a mixture, obviously, of physical and digital and all that going back to this point. But we had, let me give you the rundown, and then we'll jump into some of the highlights. So we had Birdmania Christmas 3D, my favorite of the Birdmania games.
Oh, for sure.
Cubit, the hardcore platformer robot. Edge, 3D Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Master, 3D Streets of Rage, Banana Bliss Jungle Puzzles, Winter Sports Feel the Spirit, 3D Echo the Dolphin, 3D Galaxy Force 2, come on, Jump Trials Supreme, Life with Horses 3D. I'm not sure how strong the confidence was with the marketing of the 3DS. Like, we have to put 3D on it, though, or else they won't know. My Style Studio Hair Salon, 3D Altered Beast, 3D Sonic the Hedgehog, Brilliant Hamsters, and something that I would actually love to do in real life one day.
Oh,
and that is visit the Louvre with the Nintendo 3DS guide, which I know is like, that thing is stupidly expensive, right?
Well, right, yeah, because it's not a retail thing. You go to the Louvre and then you get it there, and I don't even know that you get to keep it. I can't imagine
they're doing it anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it's still a thing, and I also don't think it was like you keep it. I think they just give you a 3DS and this cartridge, and you
so you had to steal it from the Louvre.
I think so.
That sounds really fucked up and really difficult. I hear the security is pretty good at that place.
So that's a really big one.
That's a fuck ton of really, games for the 3DS really cool. In December.
Most of this is garbage, but honestly, the 3D Sega stuff was very, very cool. Sega did these great 3D classic takes, and they did just a spectacular job with them. I have played, of the ones listed here, 3D Sonic, 3D Altered Beast, and I think that's it. But these other ones, all their 3D games are just really cool. They're optimized really well. They run super nice. the 3D Sonic the Hedgehog is great. I have
now,
3D
did they do
Space
anything
Harrier.
Did they do anything with these, like the Konami, or not Konami, the Nintendo stuff, like when they did Kid Icarus and that sort of thing? Did they do any
quite
additional...
that extensive?
Okay.
But mostly because these were already 16-bit games, so like...
Right.
You know,
they really didn't need to.
The NES stuff was like, well, we're kind of moving these in a different direction. These games were already pretty fleshed out as is. They just added a really nice 3D effect. So like the super scalar games that eventually wound up coming, like Outrun and Space Harrier and stuff, that looked so cool in 3D, like unbelievably good on the 3DS. Outside of that, though, nothing here worth mentioning.
Yeah, no, I mean, Brilliant Hamsters is it's brilliant, but all right. So at some point in 2013, possibly December, possibly not, we got an arcade release of Batman. I know nothing about this game.
I was going to say, this is the car one, right? I think it's a sit-down Batmobile racing game.
That would be my assumption, because I have seen it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yep.
Okay. Like, I've walked past it and been like, oh, that looks really neat. I'm not
it's pretty
spending $8 to fucking play it because arcade games are crazy. But that looks really fucking cool. So that's kind of awesome. All right, jumping over to the DS, we have a handful of releases for the regular old DS.
Still cooking in 2013. You gotta love it.
Yeah. But we've got 2 games that are just listed as 2013, and that would be Barbie Jet Set in Style and Monster High Ghoul Spirit. So 2 fucking classics there. But then the rest actually definitely coming out in December. That would be the movie tie-in for Rio, which is not as bad a movie as it should have been, probably. Orion's Odyssey and Hooked on Bass Fishing.
Well, I mean, regular DS fishing games are just the bee's knees.
Yeah.
So you gotta love them. But do you know about Orion's Odyssey?
I know nothing about Orion's Odyssey.
You know nothing about Orion's Odyssey?
I don't. What? Tell me about Orion's Odyssey.
I'm pretty sure this is one of the games that Morrison made.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Looking for it's the spiritual successor to their previous one, Hands-on Tangrams.
Neat.
A guy that we used to work with worked on this game. His company made this game.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't think they make anything anymore. I don't think.
No, I think they're out of that market now.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? They're games. They exist. The DS was still technically cooking at this point because the DS was an insanely popular system.
It was an insanely good system.
It was an insanely good system.
All right. Well, jumping over to the iOS platform, which we have not covered very often, but I did feel that this was worth mentioning, and that was Angry Birds Go came out on December 10th. Of 2013. Stop, you wish it would? Those first couple of Angry Birds games were great. They really, legitimately were really fun, interesting games, and oh, look what I can do on my phone and all that. And then they just kept making good games. The gameplay was always solid, but it was just crazy that they just kept coming out. All types of crazy. Angry Birds Star Wars and Angry Birds Transformers and just fucking nuts. And here you got Angry Birds Go.
What is Angry Birds Go?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's about all the energy I want to put into it.
It really is.
Couple of... I'm very confused by your next handful of lists on here. You've got 3 Mac games and 2 NES games? What?
Well, the NES games, they were added to the fucking digital store.
Oh, okay.
But I thought it was worth mentioning that for the Mac in December on the 17th, we got Psychonauts, The Walking Dead Season 2, and The Walking Dead Season 2 Episode 1. I don't know if that's the same thing and it just has 2 listings. But the Mac, for a very, very long time, games did not really come to the Mac all that often. So I just thought it was kind of cool to see some big titles coming out to the Mac. We really don't have to spend time talking about it. It's a thing that happened. That's kind of cool. But for the NES Virtual Console, they did add on December 12th and December 19th, Double Dragon and Crashing the Boys Street Challenge. Double Dragon is Double Dragon.
Of course.
It's awesome. Crashing the Boys was a reference that I didn't get until Scott Pilgrim. Like, if we're being just totally honest, like, I was like, is that an NES game? I think that was an NES game. And, like, because of the Scott Pilgrim shit, like, I actually went back and played Crashing the Boys Street Challenge. And it's not great. It's not terrible. But it's a game. It's okay.
It's definitely one of the many Kunio games that's like, well, this is certainly a thing.
I mean, I find it interesting because there is an obsession level with the Kunio-kun stuff. And man, have I just never been there with that.
Agreed.
I like some of it, but I've never understood the kind of fervor that's, because people that love that in a way that very few fandoms ever get to, which is kind of awesome. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing. All right. Well, the next list here, Chris. This is the big one.
God, you're not going to read all these.
This is the big one.
The only thing that matters here is that you have a listing for a game called Oh My Goat. And honestly, nothing else matters.
On our spreadsheet that you all are not looking at, from line 29 to line 89, so 60 fucking games in December. And no, I'm not reading all of these, but I put them all on here because it's a crazy fucking number. There were 60 games released for the Ouya. And there's not a one of them on here that any of us have heard of. You got shit on here, like the one that I'm kind of interested in, if we're being honest, Chris, Crypt of Bacon Thulu. That sounds pretty awesome. That came out on Christmas Eve. What a way to spend your Christmas Eve.
We got a game
gathered
called
around gathered around the fire with your family and your Ouya, browsing the store, being like, huh, Santa's World War? No, we're not playing that on Christmas Eve, because that also came out. We're playing Crypt of Bacon Thulu.
We're not playing some of Boulder Dash Collection. We're playing Boulder Dash, the full collection.
I thought it was interesting. I don't know what any of this is. Like, that's wild. 60 fucking games came out, Chris. 60.
That's a lot of nuts.
Month for a system that nobody fucking had. Anyway.
Well, I sincerely doubt these all only came out on Ouya. Like,
I'm sure some of them are iOS
just like
things and whatnot too.
Because that's what the Ouya was. It was like what the Google Play Store Android devices. Yeah, so it's just a bunch of Android games. All right, there's like 400 trillion more games, so let's keep going.
All right, I'll shut up. So PC also saw Psychonauts and Walking Dead. PS3. All right, the shit you're actually here for. So in December, we got Darksiders 2, Need for Speed Most Wanted, Sonic Generations. Those are possibly in December. But definitely in December. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Freedom Cry, a DLC, Abe's Animals, Borderlands 2, Foosball. Two big ones right here. Minecraft, PlayStation 3 Edition, and Mutant Mudds Deluxe. Then the Walking Dead Season 2 stuff, Tokitori, some more downloadable stuff for Assassin's Creed, Doki Doki Universe, Saints Row 4, How the Saints Save Christmas, Strength of the Sword 3, probably the biggest game this month, Gran Turismo 6. Just a huge, massive deal whenever there's a new Grand Theft Auto. Some more Saints Row, some Stealth Inc. Batman Origins got some, or Arkham Origins got some DLC, and then Battlefield 4 also got DLC.
Sonic Generations came out in November 2011. So
did it? Oh, fuck me. All right, well, we'll take that off. All right. Like I said, this is new for us, guys. Go easy. We'll figure it out as we go along.
Darksiders 2 was PlayStation 3. That was August 2012.
Well, not according to GameFAQs, but fuck it. Tell me about Mutant Mudds Deluxe. Why do you love this game as much as you do, Chris?
I think it's just because of my undying love of a Tui and Jules Watt. Sorry. Well, I didn't love Mutant Mudds Deluxe.
Because you love these games way more than I do.
I didn't actually care for Mutant Mudds Deluxe. I liked the original Mutant Mudds. I thought it was really cool. And it was pretty tough, and I enjoyed playing through it. Mutant Mudds Deluxe, if I'm remembering correctly, was like this sort of expansion pack to it of just like super expert hard levels. It was basically Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels to Mutant Mudds, and I had no interest in that. So, yeah, I'm good.
All right, so the big hitters here then are Gran Turismo 6, which we won't spend any time talking about because we don't play it. But Gran Turismo, always a huge deal. But Minecraft, the PS3 edition, pretty big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Coming out right before Christmas, like, that's big.
It's not as big as Foosball 2012, but what is?
Well, few things are. Over on the PlayStation 4, we had a handful of releases, bunch of digital stuff here. Got that same Assassin's Creed thing. Flow, just a fucking outstanding game. Pinball Arcade, the Doki Doki Universe, Battlefield 4 DLC, a bunch of stuff with Escape Plan, and then Tiny Brains, which was okay. I remember playing through that a little bit, but the big one here on the PS4 is Flow. Have you played through Flow or any of it?
No. I'm mostly unfamiliar with Flow and Flower.
Yeah,
I know of their existence, just I haven't played them.
Like the beginning of like the cozy game movement, right? I think you can kind of trace back to like this style of game where there wasn't really a lot going on. It was more of a mood than a game. But really, really good, really enjoyable. And definitely a very cool thing. Like not a good list if you were a PS4 owner though. Like, November was certainly a little bit better, I think, when we talked about it last month. But if you're sitting here in December and you're looking for shit on your new PS4, not so much. Also, over on the Virtual Console, we got...
Well, this isn't all Virtual Console here.
Oh, no?
I can tell you right now, Super 3D Noah's Ark didn't release on Virtual Console. That was...
it came out somewhere.
I think it must be maybe the Steam release?
Oh, maybe.
It came out on Mac OS. I don't know. This is a mess. Whatever this is an absolute mess. Like,
all right, well, let's talk about the SNES games.
Let's skip Virtual Console stuff. I don't think that needs to be discussed.
That's fair. All right, ton of games on the Vita. We won't go through all of them. Bit Trip presents Runner 2. Awesome game. Terraria.
It's my favorite game in the series. Love it.
Oh, I think it's inarguably the best in the series, right? Like, isn't that kind of everybody's favorite?
I think a lot of people like the original one as well.
Really, more than Runner 2?
I think so, but
all right.
I also think there's a lot of people who think Runner 2 is better, and not enough people liked Runner 3. Runner 3 didn't get the credit it deserved. Runner 3 is a great game.
Didn't play.
It's wonderful. If you liked 1 and 2, you should play 3.
We've got one release on the Wii, possibly in December. Barbie, doesn't matter if it came out, nobody cares. For the Wii U, we have Dr. Luigi.
The year of Luigi, baby.
That's right. Castle Storm, and it looks like some DLC for Castle Storm. Knit Underground, NES Remix, and Rush.
My game of the year.
What, Rush?
No, NES Remix.
No, NES Remix is incredible.
Oh yeah, NES Remix is wonderful, and so was Dr. Luigi. Dr. Luigi was quite interesting. The whole like L-shaped pill packets that would fall down, I thought was a really interesting take on Dr. Mario. It was a nice package. It was a bit too derivative of, Dr. Mario had been basically re-releasing the same version of Dr. Mario with slight differences for a long time at that point. So it was a bit of a letdown in that department. However, it was ultimately a very fun game and our go-to way of playing Dr. Mario for a long time, because I think it is still the only properly HD Dr. Mario released. Obviously, it's easiest for us to like load it up on the Switch Online, either Dr. Mario 64 or the NES Dr. Mario. We usually will wind up with Dr. Mario 64, but the Dr. Luigi is a proper HD Dr. Mario game, so it's the easiest to see when we're playing it. But it just means booting up the Wii U to play it, and strangely not having all the music from the previous iterations and stuff like that.
Which is odd.
They keep yanking things out of Dr. Mario, like leaving all the menus exactly the same. So you got these big blank spaces. Like, well, there should be other songs there. Whatever.
All right, we've got a metric fuck ton of shit on the 360. Nothing worth talking about that was not already mentioned. On the Xbox One, though,
Forza Motorsport 4.
Yeah, I mean that it says 2013, and I don't know that's accurate.
That could have been anywhere.
Yeah, I don't want to fucking double check it. I just don't. So going down to the Xbox One, though, you have Halo Spartan Assault, and then a bunch of the other shit that was already out. But Spartan Assault, new Halo, Xbox One,
Peggle 2.
I don't know. Gran Turismo 6. That kind of Gran Turismo 6.
Yeah,
and Minecraft 3. Seems to be the big winners there in 2013. Not a great month, though, ultimately, I don't think.
I mean, NES Remix I'd also put up high up there, but only if you're me.
Yeah.
As far as general, yeah, I'm with you there. 2013, December, not great, but December's usually not the greatest month.
Usually not great.
Yeah, because we're already, November's the big releases, so. But, well, let's see how 2003 grabs us. Let's see if 2003 can wrap its hands around us and make us feel special
in a sexy way. I am going to take out just real quick. I'm going to take out all of the stuff that just says 2003 on it. Because fuck it. So we minus the arcade stuff. Sometime in 2003, there were a bunch of cool arcade games that came out. So we'll mention them now just briefly. F-Zero AX. Metal Slug 5, Samurai Showdown 5, Samurai Showdown 5 Special, San Francisco Rush 2049 Special, Star Wars Starfighter, Time Crisis 3, and Virtua Cop 3, and Outrun 2 all came out in 2003 in the arcade. That's fucking awesome. That is a great list of arcade games, but I don't know if they were December, so fuck it. Okay, going down to... Oh, we're figuring it out. Fuck it, guys. We're tired. Going down to the Game Boy Advance, because we're just staying alphabetical. We've got BMX Trick Racer, Need for Speed Underground, Max Payne, Ozzy and Drix, The Sims Bustin' Out, The King of Fighters EX2, Howling Blood, Peter Pan, The Motion Picture Event, the Activision anthology Mission Impossible Operation Surma, Yu Yu Hakusho, Ghost Files Spirit Detective, and Sword of Mana. I remember Sword of Mana being like a pretty exciting thing coming out for the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, I don't think it actually wound up being all that well liked once it came out.
I don't think it did, yeah.
But it was still kind of neat. I'm trying to figure out what was on Activision Anthology for GBA. Where's our game list?
All of it, right? I mean, they're Activision games, like old school. Didn't take up too much room.
No, there were a bunch of Atari games, but I just wanted to make sure I knew what was on there. But, alas, we got Pitfall, Barnstorming, Boxing, Bridge, Checkers, Chopper Command. Yeah, good stuff.
A good collection.
Yep. Pitfall 1 and 2, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
River Raid 1 and 2. Cool. Some game called Okie Dokie I'm unfamiliar with. All right.
Yeah.
All right, keep it
All
going.
right, well, GameCube had a pretty big month. We've got Midway
sexy.
Arcade Treasures, Goblin Commander Unleash the Horde, the Powerpuff Girls Relish Rampage, Sims Busting Out, because God, the Sims were fucking huge at this time. Metabots Infinity, huge game for us. Beyond Good and Evil came out on December 11th, 2003. Monster 4x4, the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone movie tie-in, R Racing Evolution, and then another one that came with Pac-Man Versus, I Ninja, which they really tried to make a thing, Gotcha Force, probably my favorite version of Resident Evil Code Veronica, really, really good here on the GameCube, NFL Blitz Pro, Pac-Man Versus, just, yes.
Yeah, Pac-Man
1080
Versus
Avalanche
is a blast.
and the Pokemon Channel. That is a badass month for GameCube.
Yeah, that's pretty solid stuff right there. Well done. Well done, GameCube. Oh my god.
Yeah. All right.
I imagine the PlayStation 2 and Xbox probably fared at least as well, but yeah. I mean, I'm already just looking ahead to PS2, and yeah, PS2's got some winners too.
Yeah, there's some pretty good stuff on there. The Macintosh saw Baldur's Gate 2, Halo came to the Mac, which I remember that being a thing back in 2003, and the main reason I put it on here, because Bungie started with Marathon on the Mac, and then went to Microsoft, and then eventually came back to the Mac with Halo. Like, that was a big deal, unless I'm misremembering that. Do you remember, Chris?
I don't remember anybody caring about Halo coming to Mac, but then again...
People fucking... At least in the GameStop I worked in around this time, people were like, oh, it's fucking... To go back to the thing. Anyway, and there was also an Indiana Jones game that came out on the Mac, and I don't know that there are any good Indiana Jones games, and that makes me sad. This one's called The Emperor's Tomb. Whatever. Neo Geo and...
yeah, that
Neo
came
Geo...
out on a bunch of stuff, Emperor's Tomb.
Did it?
Yeah.
Neo Geo, because it came out in the arcade, also saw the Samurai Showdown 5. The N-Gage was still kicking with Rayman 3, NCAA Football, Red Faction, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, Something or Other, and Virtua Tennis. Yep, that's about how I feel on those. PlayStation, one of the best PlayStation games.
Nope.
What? No,
this was not a PlayStation 1. Xenogears did not release in December 2003.
Oh, not Xenogears. Fuck. Yeah.
Xenogears was in 1998. No, this is basically Virtual Console. We can skip this.
Yeah. Sorry. All right. Skip over the PlayStation. Nothing else there. All right. PS2. Going down to things that have actual release dates. So I thought this would work easier, but maybe not. I don't know. All right. So we've got Deer Hunter, The Sims Busting Out, Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly. Just amazing game. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, R Racing Evolution, King of Fighters 2000-2001, Mission Impossible Operation Surma, Mobile Suit Gundam, Counters in Space Cold-Decept, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2, and Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
The Max Payne and Budokai 2.
Final Fantasy 10. Did we know about Final Fantasy X?
I thought it was actually November.
Somebody has to know the actual release date to that one.
I thought so.
Final Fantasy X, as my customers would call it. North America, December 2001.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe...
Samsonite. I was way off.
All right, so what we're learning here, Chris, is that there has to be more fact-checking, which is fine. Whatever. Xbox 2003, Arx Fatalis, Sims, Corvette, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Fuck, that game sucks. Movie's amazing, though. R Racing Evolution, got World Champion Pool, Broken Sword, Curse the Eye of Isis, I Ninja, Spy Hunter 2, Armed and Dangerous, Beyond Good and Evil, Deus Ex, Invisible War. That game's really fucking good. That Mission Impossible, bowling, and some drag racing. I don't know. I feel like PlayStation 2 takes it.
Yeah,
Max Payne,
I would agree with
Budokai
that.
2, Fatal Frame 2, like those are all pretty big.
I mean, GameCube though. GameCube, we're looking at Beyond Good and Evil, Resident Evil Code Veronica X, Pac-Man Versus, 1080 Avalanche.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty close. PS2 and GameCube both had really good months.
All right.
And, this wasn't a bad month for Xbox. Munch's Odyssey, December 2003. That doesn't check out. That math isn't mathing. Yeah, Our Racing Revolution, Spy Hunter 2. That had The Rock on it, didn't it?
Spy Hunter 2? I think it did.
I can't remember. All right. Not bad for a December. Not bad for a December. What we got in 1993?
This is where it gets a little squirrely, so we'll see. 1993, according to GameFAQs, in the arcade, we saw a game called Eco Fighters. I don't know what the hell it is, but it was an arcade game. On the Game
Eco
Boy.
Fighters. You're not
Do
familiar
I know
with
Eco Fighters?
I don't know. I feel like you would. It's a Capcom beat 'em up, I think.
Maybe?
I feel like you might recognize it if you saw it. No, it's a shooter. I'm getting confused. I knew it was a Capcom game, but this is a shooter. Eco.
Oh, no.
Show me potato salad.
There it is. It's right over there.
Eco Fighters, Q Sound. Okay, yeah, it's a Capcom side-scrolling shoot 'em up.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. I'm more excited about it now.
It's a neat game. I've played this. Not very long.
All right. Well, we for the Game Boy, the original Game Boy, we've got Battletoads Double Dragon, Chuck Rock, Cliffhanger.
Fuck that game.
What? Cliffhanger?
Cliffhanger.
I know you love it. I know you love it. F1 pole position.
I hate almost all these games. This is a terrible month for Game Boy minus two things I like.
Mega Man 4. That's a good one. Metal Masters, Spider-Man, X-Men Arcades Revenge, and Tetris 2.
Tetris 2 is the commercial with the parrot and the bombs, and he goes, "What? Tetris 2?" Sticks in my head forever. Mega Man 4 was probably my least favorite of the Game Boy Mega Man games because it was the most of just like the closest direct port to the NES games.
Yeah.
Like obviously it was different, but it was like the one that was, it's got the same music and it's just very that.
But still
really.
Portable Mega Man, which is not a bad
it's still,
thing.
Yeah, all the Mega Man Game Boy games
awesome.
are genuinely very good games. But yeah, Battletoads Double Dragon was kind of garbage. Spider-Man X-Men was absolute garbage. Cliffhanger can jump in a lake. Yeah. No, just I have no interest in any of this stuff.
No. Genesis though, little bit better.
Yeah, I guess a little bit better.
Better. Battletoads Double Dragon.
Again, not a game that I particularly care for.
No, but it sold well. Like it was exciting. It was at least something to be excited about, because before playing it and realizing it wasn't that great, it was like, oh, these two really cool franchises that make so much sense to be together, because obviously Battletoads is nothing more than a beat 'em up because nobody ever got past that first couple fucking sections of it. This makes perfect sense. A better idea than executed product, but Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, pretty cool.
Who doesn't love some Puyo Puyo? This was kind of its first real release here in the US. This one and Kirby's Avalanche on Super Nintendo, so that's neat.
FIFA International Soccer's whatever, but everybody loves soccer. Fun and Games, McDonald's Treasureland Adventure, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, the just gigantic fucking movie that was. Winter Olympic Games, Lillehammer 94, Jungle Strike, and one of our favorite games, Chris, Eternal Champions. We did love that.
Sign me up.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters.
Yeah, the Genesis version, not the best, but
not the best, but still not a terrible month. Like,
yeah, not bad.
That's not a bad December for the Genesis. The Game Gear saw one release, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Over on the Neo Geo, there was 3 Count Bout and Fatal Fury Special. I like Fatal Fury Special. That was a good one. one release for the NES, and I don't know that I've ever played this one, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. What do you know about that, Chris?
Last
Any good on the
Crusade
NES?
on NES. I can't say I'm overly familiar with that one.
Because I feel like my earlier statement of there being no good Indiana Jones games was pretty accurate.
I mean, I don't think I've ever played a good one, except I do. All right, that's kind of hard because I like the the Atari game, the one we played at the Pain in the Assathon.
Yeah,
but it's so obtuse. I don't know that I can call it a quote unquote good game, but it's a really interesting game and kind of fun in the right settings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, we're going to skip the 2 PC releases because they're honestly, in my mind, the biggest things. So we'll jump down to the Sega CD, Lunar, the Silver Star. So yeah, that happened. Super NES had, I think, a better month than the Genesis because we had ABC Monday Night Football, The Art of Fighting, Barbie Supermodel, Battle Blaze, Battle Cars, Beethoven, The Ultimate Canine Caper, Dennis the Menace, Dig and Spike Volleyball, F1 Pole Position, Genghis Khan 2, The Electric Boogaloo, Clan of
I'm
the
so
Grey
glad
Wolf.
they made a sequel to that guy.
Oh, I know, right? He was fucking awesome. Inspector Gadget. I remember liking that Inspector Gadget Super Nintendo game. I don't know why. Jim Power, Mario Paint.
Mario Paint
Right, is
was
that
August. August
That was
1992.
August, right? I thought so. Okay. Mario's Time Machine, Metal Combat, Metal Marines, Nobunaga's Ambition, Romance. So we got Genghis Khan 2, Nobunaga's Ambition, and fucking Romance of the Three Kingdoms. All the same, like,
Kawhi firing on all cylinders.
Split it up. There's not
Gotta
a
get those out
gigantic
before the end of
audience
the
for
year.
that. Side Pocket, it was pretty cool. Fucking billiards thing. Soldier of Fortune, Super Chase HQ, which is also pretty cool. Supernova, the Super Nintendo, the superior version of Tournament Fighters, The Adventures of Dr. Franken, World Soccer 94, and Lufia and the Fortress of Doom.
Mario's Time Machine is one of those bait and switch things. It's like if it was the sequel to Mario is Missing. I still rented the hell out of it. Metal Combat Falcon's Revenge is fucking great. It's the sequel to Battle Clash that nobody really knew because it doesn't say Battle Clash anywhere in the name. They just came up with a name that sounds similar to Mortal Kombat because that's what was popular at the time.
Maybe they thought, like, also in December, we're going to have Battle Blaze and Battle Cars. We can't release Battle Clash as well. Give me something different.
I guess it was an okay month.
Burying the lead, Chris. The PC saw Duke Nukem 2 on December 3rd, but then on December 10th, Doom.
Doom! One of my favorite games of all time. Still as fun to play today as it was back when it first came out. Doom is a masterpiece. It's lovely.
That game has aged not at all. Like, you are 100% right. That game is as fun for the just absurdity and nonsense that it is. And that is, like, there's very few times when we're going through these lists where it's like, that is a genuine spoke in the wheel moment. And fucking Doom is just one of those things where it's like, wow, things are different now. Things are different after this game.
Yeah,
Impact.
shareware. Obviously it was building off of what Wolfenstein 3D had started, but Doom was really just the proper execution of that was it fully realized. And it's
just gigantic.
Wonderful game. One of my absolute favorites.
Yeah, it's one of those like desert island games, right? Like this is what I take with me. Yeah. All right.
Never angry.
Well, let's set the dials back to 1983, Chris, and take a look at the 2600. So as accurate as this can be, we've got Congo Bongo for the 2600, the Masters of the Universe game, which there are almost no He-Man games in existence. This is one of the ones that does exist, however, and that's about the best I can say about it. And we also have Dolphin, Cookie Monster Munch, Mario Brothers, Miner 2049er Volume 2, Mountain King, Music Machine, Omega Race, Sorcerer's Apprentice, Subterranea, and Tunnel Runner. Is there anything I got to play out of here?
Not that you have to play. I mean, Congo Bongo for 2600 is interesting. It does some playing with perspective, because Congo Bongo was one of those games that was, made from an isometric, presented in an isometric pseudo 3D perspective, and that they were as ambitious as they were in trying to recreate that on Atari 2600 is really rather impressive. So that's pretty cool. Mario Brothers on Atari 2600 is a curiosity. It's hideous, but it does technically play pretty well as far as being a Atari port of Mario Brothers.
Right.
So that's neat. So Omega Race and Mountain King, at the very least, those two are CBS releases, and I'm not overly familiar with those games. I did the educational kind of stuff that Atari was hitting with Sorcerer's Apprentice and Cookie Monster Munch. Those are, they're not necessarily great games or anything, but they are interesting. They did Pigs in Space eventually, and they had a whole line of these educational Atari games that had their own unique trade dress and everything. So that's kind of cool. I think Dolphin was an Activision game, wasn't it?
Yes, that sounds right.
I should know Dolphin. Yeah, it's an Activision joint.
I did just check on
Dolphin.
eBay.
This is a fun game. Dolphin's a pretty fun game. You should try Dolphin.
Well, perhaps after. It's going to take me a little bit. I got to save my money, because I just checked on eBay for a copy of Masters of the Universe, The Power of He-Man for the 2600, and a Wata 9.0A sealed copy, Chris. I could buy it now for $6,800. Is what somebody is charging for that. No one is going to buy it for that. There is also
2 loose copies of it for Intellivision.
I'm looking. There's a complete in box minus the comic, which is kind of shitty. But that's only $25, and I feel like I have to have that at some point. Not today though, because it's close to Christmas and we have to wrap this up. So on the 5200, we got Congo Bongo, Moon Patrol, and Pengo.
Yeah, I have very little to say about most 5200 games. So
all right.
Moon Patrol is great no matter where. I've never played a bad version of Moon Patrol. It's a neat game.
In the arcade, we got Marvin's Maze, Tapper, and Pole Position 2. Tapper's fucking cool. Pole Position's great. Those good arcade games. Very, very solid. Over on the Intellivision, we had Centipede, Defender, Jetsons Way with Words, Locomotion, Melody Blaster, Mr. Basic meets Bits and Bytes, Intellivision Pac-Man, and Scooby-Doo Maze Chase. I don't know.
So Centipede was, I think, Atari Soft, right? Because that's an Atari branded game. That's an Atari property. So that's when they started pumping out their games on other systems. I don't know, because Atari had no direction. I've never played Defender on Intellivision.
I haven't either.
And I imagine that game would be okay with the Intellivision
probably
controller. Pac-Man, though, that sounds like a nightmare on the Intellivision disc.
Yeah. You know where Defender sounds good, though, Chris? On our next system, the ColecoVision, Centipede, Defender, and Frontline. I definitely have played a bunch of Centipede and a bunch of Defender on ColecoVision, and they are solid versions of those games.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We had 2 releases for the Vectrex, the 3D Imager with 3D Mindstorm that you added to our list. I know nothing about them.
Oh, the 3D Imager is so cool. It's like a Viewmaster 3D glasses thing for the Vectrex. It's freaking wild. I worked for a guy at a comic book store who actually owned like 3 complete in the box, and he wouldn't give me one. I really wanted to buy one off of him, but he like hoards them just well as everything else. But the 3D imager for Vectrex is really wild. I don't think I've played 3D Mindstorm. Mindstorm's the game that, like, it's basically asteroids. So
yeah,
imagine vector games in 3D, and that's what you're getting. Good stuff.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And then the last game in 1983, Game & Watch Pinball, which I imagine was pretty good.
Yeah, Game & Watch games are neat. I'm unfamiliar with Game & Watch Pinball.
I imagine it was decent.
I wonder if it's similar. Okay, so it's a dual screen game, and pinball just strikes me as the kind of thing, because like the thing about Game & Watch, it's one of those like LCD games. So yeah, the balls, there's no physics. The ball doesn't move or bounce or anything. It's just like it runs along these predetermined paths. It's kind of a marvel to see this game even function, you know?
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's pretty awesome.
Well, yeah, there you go.
That's it. That's it. All right. Done and done.
Notes have been taken. 10, 20, 30, 40. Let's do it.
Yeah.
We'll do better next month. It was off to a good start. The bones are good.
The bones are solid. It gets really squirrely here at the end when things are just listed by, 2013 or 2003. Like, and we've talked about this plenty of times before, where like these release dates are just not, for especially going back 30, 40 years, like even 20 years, some of the shit is just not as well known as it should be. And that is a whole other conversation that we have had and will have again at some point. But for now, Kris, tell everybody to fuck off.
That's our show. Join us next week when we'll be doing our 2023 year in review for reals this time. What did we love? What did we hate? What noteworthy news happened? We'll cover all of it. I'm kidding. We'll cover the parts that we feel like, because that's what we do. We're on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to this show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. It helps keep this show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ali. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making this show listenable for all you folks, and we'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. I hope everybody had a happy and safe holiday, and hope everybody has a happy and safe new year. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.